Hi there, my name is Naveen and today I am going to talk about how to avoid or stop the story spillover in a Scrum. Do you struggle to complete planned stories within the time box in a Scrum or your team struggle? Why we have a spillover? What are the reasons behind it and how to avoid and stop it? Is it possible to complete all stories in every sprint? If not, what is acceptable? We use Scrum to solve a complex adaptive problem. That means uncertainty and complexity always going to be there. In such cases, we cannot be accurate and sometimes it can be more than what we plan or less than that. I usually consider a 20% variation in planning, but must have the sprint goal to enable this flexibility. I will talk about a sprint goal in my next video. So let's focus on reason and solutions for story spillover. Here are the top 11 reasons for spillover. First, team forecasting more than capacity. Not considering team capacity and velocity during sprint planning leads to such issues. The Scrum Master should help team understand the importance of capacity and velocity during forecasting so the team stop overcommitment. Second, no room for unplanned work. It is expected in complex domain where the team looks for continuous feedback. It can be in the form of change requests or production issues. It is advisable not to plan for your full capacity to accommodate those feedback during the sprint. Keep some time reserved for experiments and unplanned work based on historical data. A team can always pull more work within the sprint if the team has extra time. Third, no teamwork. Every member is picking up the story based on individual skills and ability. It also leads to poor daily scrum because nobody pays attention to other members' work. Look for possibility of having more than one team member working on same story. If needed, better keep bigger size stories that add value rather than keeping a story small with no value. Fourth, missing definition of done. Either team does not have definition of done or have it very minimal, which does not enable transparency in increment produced by the team. So changes keep coming throughout the sprint. Have a definition of done that helps in creating potential realizable product increment with the higher quality will help the team. Fifth, undone work. The team does not produce potential realizable product increment and keep accumulating incomplete work such as UAT, performance testing and security testing, etc. Later on, these work start appearing in sprint backlog as and when those work begin. Minimize or eliminate those undone work by improving your definition of done and doing all work within the sprint. Sixth, not refining product backlog before sprint planning. Scrum says to keep your product backlog ready for sprint planning, and not having it will lead to an ambiguous plan. Better to have product backlog refinement session in advance to reduce ambiguity. I coach the team on importance of having 1 or 2 sprints work refined in advance to avoid these issues. Seventh, not updating sprint backlog regularly. Whatever the reason, I have seen many teams that don't update the task board when the task status changes. The sprint backlog does not reflect correct insights, so they don't get needed support from anyone promptly. Having a team agreement encourages such practices to enable transparency in the sprint backlog to reflect an accurate picture. Eighth, inter-team dependencies. While working in multi-team Scrum setup, it is always challenging to deal with dependencies, where teams spend a lot of time in coordination and meetings. Having a feature team reduces such dependency. Also avoid component teams like service team, UI team and backend team, etc. Each team should be capable of delivering a customer-centric feature. Ninth, missing inspect and adapt during daily Scrum. Have you been the daily Scrum which sounds more like a status report? A Scrum Master collects status and compile a piece of information for stakeholders? If yes, you are missing the real purpose of daily Scrum. Use daily Scrum to inspect your sprint goal, work done so far, to meet the sprint goal and decide the most important work that team can do today. 10th, having a proxy product owner. Having a proxy product owner creates more problems than solve any. First and foremost, delayed decision making. Proxy collects queries from the team and clarifies with product owner, come back and explain to the team. If the team comes up with more queries, then proxy goes again to the product owner. Team loses a lot of time and end up waiting for information or pull more stories to work on it in parallel. Not having a proxy will help in improving the relationships between the developers and the product owner. More they know each other, better understand what and how of the product. 11th, no empiricism. Finally, team is not learning from the previous sprint's outcome. Retrospectives are more like blame game or dull. Nobody is challenging the present issues. Learn and apply empirical approach in your Scrum to improve your product delivery. That's all for today. Please write your feedback in comment section about these tips on stopping and avoiding story spillover. Thank you.